Generals, ladies and gentlemen, firstly I was asked to brief on the German General Staff, so I have to start with a quote. All German land, naval and air forces with all their organizations, including the General Staff, shall be completely and finally abolished. These words are part of the communication on the Tripartite Conference, Berlin Conference, of 2nd of August 1945. So if you ask a German general about the topic of the General Staff, there's only one answer possible. We do not have one. What we do have, however, are well-trained, motivated, and committed General Staff officers on all command levels, and today I'm going to talk exactly about those officers. So therefore, we changed the topic to promoting talent and leadership, character, culture, competencies, and education of the German General Staff officer. And I do this from the position as the Commander Field Army and Deputy Chief of the Army. And I'm also talking and using my experiences in the Balkans and in Afghanistan as well, where I always had the pleasure to have young General Staff officers around me and working with me. Firstly, I will give you a brief historic overview of the development of the General Staff Officers training in the Bundeswehr since it has been established in 1955. Then I will present in short my view of the challenges to our command personnel, and based on that, I will identify the abilities our future leadership personnel must bring along. At the end, I will take up the question how we have to train and qualify our leadership personnel in order to succeed in this new environment, and above all, how we can retain them. Ladies and gentlemen, General Adolf Heusinger was the first Bundeswehr Chief of Staff, and in 1957 he intended to fundamentally reorganize the training of the General Staff officers of the young Bundeswehr. And although he kept the traditional values of personality development as they were imparted at the German war academies before, however, it was important to him, in view of the fundamentally new situation, to develop new models for an army in a democracy. The overemphasis on tactics was to give way in view of the new challenges the Bundeswehr was facing. In the future, training was to contain clearly more social science elements. In the beginning, however, the General Staff Officers training, which started in 1958, and the different services continued to focus on tactical training as in the 1930s and 40s. This picture changed then only in the 1970s, when social science elements were increasingly introduced into the training. And from the very beginning, the training of German General Staff officers took place with joint training segments in Hamburg. However, the respective classroom of the service remained the home of the students for the 2 years. So when I participated in the course, I was member of an army syndicate. So we had 4 army syndicates, 2 Air Force, 1 Navy. And in 2004, we changed it. Now, the German General and Admiral Staff Officers course has been conducted in joint student classrooms. And since 2014, the training has been accredited at the university level too. With additional training modules, participants can now acquire a Master of Arts in the study course Military Command and Control and International Security. In fact, they get the opportunity on a voluntary basis to acquire a second master's degree, because all of us have a master already. This is part of our education. I have my very own opinion on that one. During 2 years of study and numerous field tours and travels, our General Staff Officers are qualified to deal with problems from different perspectives with scientific methods and to develop solutions, to plan on the strategic, operational, and tactical levels, analyze security policy issues and provide recommendations, take into account the ethnic dimension of military decisions, strengthen the intercultural skills and perform staff works in multinational headquarters, establish an international network, and thus always be up to date. And finally, to act in a determined and professional way in their contacts with the press and media and on positions with particular external impact. Our training at the Bundeswehr Command and Staff College, Führungsakademie, concentrates on the Chief of Staff. It's not focusing on the future commander. It's the Chief of Staff. This is what you are rated during 2 years. Brigade level, division level, corps level, and above. Only those who are able to understand the most complex matters and situations and are capable to develop practical solutions with their staff quickly are suited to exercise leadership. These 2 years are a rewarding investment in our top-level personnel, and I wouldn't like to have done without my own course in Hamburg from 91 to 93. Even today, I draw on experiences and contacts from that time. We send our people afterwards, from time to additional courses, but that is not obligation. So we train our officer in this time frame between 30 and 34 years, and this gives them what they need for the rest of their career, including, of course, that they will always do additional training, but no senior courses which are foreseen. What are the challenges of our time today? Last year, we witnessed the unlawful annexation of Crimea and high-intensity combat in eastern Ukraine, war at the eastern flank of NATO. Only few would have predicted that in this form. The same applies to the warfare of Daesh, which has swept away several Iraqi divisions in just a few weeks without any effort. A terror organization which is successfully waging conventional war. Have we seen that before? I don't think so. So we had to learn that the warning times of up to several years projected so far do not reflect reality. Conflicts can be predicted neither regionally nor with respect to time. In addition, a mission takes place mostly in situations characterized by uncertainty and disorderliness, and thus an unknown borderline situation. We must always be prepared to be confronted with surprises. Therefore, our armed forces have to be flexible, responsive, and in particular quickly available. Otherwise, they are of no relevance. The spectrum of potential operation scenarios ranges what has been discussed during the day, from humanitarian stabilization up to warfare. And there are also quite different conflicts to be solved at the home front, at home. Social change, information society, low birth rates. These are the topics which will occupy us in the future even more than today. And we should not kid ourselves. Our financial scope is limited. We have to work efficiently with the scarce financial and human resources still available to us. For this broad task, we need professional military leaders who firstly have a well-founded concept of ethical and moral values in order to be able to move with self-confidence on unknown cultural grounds. Secondly, they have to be mentally strong and flexible in order to be able to uncertain and new situations and teams. And in the future, the character of hardly any mission will be purely national and purely military. We provide our general staff officers with good methodical skills. Joint training standards, procedures, and exercises are the key to success. This gives us the possibility to address even unknown operational situations in a structured and solution-oriented manner. This then is the ability to keenly analyze, to get to the heart of the problem, and to especially to understand interdependencies, and then to develop creative proposals for solutions quickly. But we must not concentrate our thinking on military solutions alone. The general staff officer of today must be able to think far beyond his own military horizon. Society, economy, politics, environment, media. He needs to master all the instruments in these fields of action and to contribute to tying up the often loose ends to a red thread. And what's the role of today's general staff officer? In Germany, we have the term staff assistant. In Deutsch, Führungsgehilfe. Not everybody has the privilege to spend the majority of assignments in command functions. That means that the general staff officer is first and foremost an assistant in the background. General staff officers don't have a name. It's an old saying of Moltke. He will prepare decisions and represent these decisions in talks with his military superior or the political leadership. He will never push himself forward. He is modest and unassuming. If, however, he obtains command responsibility, he will be a role model for his soldiers. He will command with passion, stimulate motivation and enthusiasm. And exactly from my perspective, this is the strength of our general staff officers. We have a permanent rotation between command functions and functions as staff assistants. The German general staff officer must be able to be both team leader and team member. And to quote General McChrystal, to build a team of teams, or to build a network to defeat a network. In short, our general staff officers are carefully selected and specially trained species, and for this we need the best minds of the young talents. And we have to challenge and promote. What do I mean with this? We do not win young talents by promising faster promotion and a secure income. Already today, and even more in the future, we are facing a tough competition for the best brains with industry. And if we talk about money, we will always lose. Industry can always pay more. But we are not allowed to get involved in that battle. Instead, we have to advertise what makes us unique as military. Responsibility, the desire to shape something, honor, pride, comradeship. And these virtues are regarded as important even today, and young people want to experience them. We keep them grounded in a permanently changing environment. Our service means lifelong learning. Every task, every assignment contributes to a further rounding off of capabilities. In this context, it is important to have time for development. Somebody who has not experienced the effects of his own decisions will not learn to take over responsibility. Assignments with a duration of less than 2 years have to be the exception. Otherwise, they could be damaging to the respective leader and especially to the soldiers entrusted to him. We want to have the responsible general staff officer who knows the tools of his trade. He is first and foremost an officer. With his decisions and with the decisions prepared by him, respectively, he is responsible for the employment of our soldiers. Our profession, at whatever level, is a very special one. In extreme cases, we decide on life and death. General staff officers are always employed as leaders as well. They have to be able to motivate, they have to gain acceptance. But they can succeed only if they are credible. The soldiers notice that, especially during operations. We need general staff officers with backbone who advise objectively, advocate their position resolutely, and implement decisions loyally when they are finally made. And if they offer 2 solutions and the third one is chosen, in the end, you act then loyally. If we place confidence in them, if we guide them to act responsibly, if we give them support and time to develop, then we will be able to win highly motivated young people ready to meet exactly this challenge in the future as well. However, I have to say the young generation also needs some personal space for time for oneself and for one's family, because this is a highly valued good. For many of our young people, the service no longer takes precedence. Let me draw a line. We provide our general staff officers and admiral staff officers with good methodical skills. I'm firmly convinced of this training and of the quality of our future leadership personnel. This means that we are well prepared to meet future challenges. We have top experts who are capable of creative thinking, who are mentally strong and flexible and have good methodical skills. Their careers are characterized by a permanent change between assignments with leadership responsibility and assignments as staff assistants. Our new generation needs space and flexibility. I'm convinced that we will be able to retain our personnel even in the future, and that we will be an attractive employer for young talents if we are able to achieve this. Thank you very much.